Hi, everyone. I am Donna Reed, and this is Donna Reed Talks Voice. Today, I will be working with Martin. Hi, Martin.
Hi.
And Martin's in Germany. And please let us know a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you do, how you sing, and what kind of things you sing.
I study vocal pedagogy, classical vocal pedagogy in Essen, in Germany. And right now I'm preparing my audition repertoire for entrance auditions for a master's degree.
Okay, great. So you sing classical music.
Yeah, I do.
So what are you, tenor, baritone? What types of things do you sing?
A baritone.
Baritone. So do you sing more songs and lieder and things like that, or do you sing opera or all of it?
Somehow all of it, but mostly church music, so like oratorio or lieder. So it's more on the concert side.
Okay, great. Just so I know kind of where you're at. All right, great. So as I have many of my students do, mostly all of my students, I'm going to have you exhale, inhale as you bring your arms up, exhale, and just do that a few times. Get the air flowing in, the air going out. Feel the rib cage expand, and then the air goes out. And again, getting the mobility of that rib cage. One more time. Great. And I always re-explain myself, but I just love starting that way because one of the things that happens with most singers, all of us, no matter what genre of music, we get tight in our rib cage because, we think about support and it needs to be flexible. Yeah, our bodies need to be engaged. Absolutely. But, we need that flexibility, let that accordion effect work, right? So let's just see where you're at. I've never worked with you before. This is the first time we're meeting. I don't know your voice. So let's do an ooh falsetto, those three notes, and see what's what. Well, good. That's obviously very easy for you. You have a strong falsetto and there's no constriction to it. Have you sung today at all?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
A
So,
little bit of humming, but
okay.
not really serious.
But not really singing. So you're not really warmed up, which is great. I always love to see a student when they're not quote unquote warmed up, just so I can hear what's happening right off the bat. Okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to take that falsetto all the way down, but if it wants to switch to a chest voice, you let it switch to a chest voice. If it doesn't, that's fine. Whatever it wants to do. Ooh. Now that still feels pretty much on the falsetto side, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. That's how I'm hearing it. It's obviously not all falsetto. There's a little tiny bit of chest voice in there, but you're feeling it as a falsetto. Absolutely fine. We're going to go lower, see where it wants to go. That one's more chest voice.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
And it had a very smooth switch. Okay, great. Now, just plain old ah. Let's see what that wants to do. that bottom note, there was a little teeny tiny bit of a push. Did you hear, and it's real subtle, did you hear a little bit of a difference in the vibrato on the bottom note?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, be careful. It started, your vibrato is very nice. It's very steady. It's very even. It was a little, so as you go lower, remember that the vocal cords, since you do pedagogy, you know this, the vocal cords are vibrating very slowly. You really can't put a lot of pressure on them. So if you try to do too loud, you'll either push them apart or they'll try to vibrate faster. So especially that low, that is the one place in anybody's voice where I use the word relax. Because, a lot of people, when they have negative tension, they say, oh, you need to relax. No. That's a bad thought in most of the voice, because your body needs to have some kind of dynamic tension in order to sing it. But literally the only place you think, quote unquote, relaxed is this low. So just let it do its thing, and don't hardly even think about that bottom note. Yeah. Yeah, and even less as you go down. I'll tell you what. Do that one again. And what I want you to do, same thing you just did, just move your shoulders like this and let the whole rib cage move. Yeah, now you notice how in moving your rib cage it goes a little, but there's something trying to loosen up down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. There's another way I can do it. No, I'm gonna continue to do it this way. I want you to move your shoulders as you did, but I want you to take out all the vibrato.
Oh, okay.
So just straight, but you're doing this. Now, did you hear when you were holding that bottom note, even though you took out the vibrato on these guys, there was a little movement starting to come through?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm going to have you do it again. You're going to move, take out the vibrato, and think straight. But if the movement comes through, you let it come through. Okay. But keep thinking straight, even when there's a movement. That's a better bottom note.
It is.
Do you hear and feel the difference?
Yeah, it is a bit more subtle and somehow not smaller but defined.
Yes, you know what? I'll use the word when a student describes things as smaller that way, and they often do. I use the word compact.
Yeah.
Compact does not mean constricted. So compact means that the adjustment is very efficient when you feel that compactness. And that's very different from small constricted. One of the misconceptions we have as singers is that, oh, it should always feel like it's wide open. Not necessarily. We can have a free sound and it can have this compact adjustment, especially down this low. Now, one of the other things that I noticed about this particular sound, as opposed to the same note with the other sounds, is that this one was more resonant. This one was had more presence to it. Yeah. I'm actually going to go a little bit lower. Same idea, straight, move your shoulders and let the vibrato come out of the straightness. Yeah. Not bad. And that's the F on the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, very cool. Really good. Really good. Now that we've done those low guys, let's see what's going on up here. Now, how do I want to do this? see what wants to happen. So hold it a little bit and back down. Now, did you hear, these are great, did you hear on that top note a little bit of a shift, something a little different than the one note, than the note before?
A little bit. It's a little bit darkening. I guess it feels that way. And but it's subtle enough so that I can't really describe it.
Yes, what you described is exactly what I heard. There's a little bit of a, almost like a covering.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to keep going. I don't know if I like that or not. It sounds amazing, but we're not listening aesthetically. Aesthetically, you're doing great. This is fabulous. But we're listening functionally.
Yeah.
Now, functionally, I don't know if I like that little cover and if that's going to help us going up or if it's not going to help us going up. So I'm just going to keep going higher. You just keep singing, and we'll see if it just does its own thing, or if it doesn't do its own thing, and then I'll fix it. See, something is telling me that what you're doing there, either consciously or unconsciously, is a good thing, because that seems very easy.
It is until now, so.
Okay,
yeah. Okay.
So let's try the next one, see where it goes. Just know that every single half step higher does something a little differently.
Yeah.
And that's easy enough, right?
It is.
And I don't see that you're struggling. I don't see that your body's getting tight. I don't see that, any of that's happening. You're obviously using enough energy for that because it's coming out, but nothing is forced. Let's keep going. Now, see, this is interesting, all of these. They're so easy. And they sound so good. They're slightly covered. It's a little bit of an but I hesitate to change that because it's working so well and it's so easy. I'm hesitating to get a little bit of a broader but I am going to go higher. If we run into a problem again, I'll see what I can fix.
Okay.
I may try a little bit of a broader but right now, I don't want to mess with this. So let's try the next guy. Yeah, see, that's so easy. I hesitate to fuss with it. I will try something in a moment, but I'm going to try one or two more. Okay, you can get away with that one. That's the first one that wasn't quite as efficient as the other guys. But you know what? That's a G. And for a baritone, surprised, right?
A little bit, because I tend to, I've never been told to cover, not at all. So, but it just went that way, because maybe it has a little bit more falsetto to it. And when I sing repertoire, I tend to try to keep that brilliance and overtone structure and brightness in there, because it's a bit more connected to the other ones.
Yeah.
And that is a bit more, has a bit more tension. So sometimes I can't get that high with a brighter sound. Maybe, I don't know yet.
Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. As I said, it is, I hear that quote unquote coveredness, but it's so easy. but which is why I hesitate to fuss with it. So, Martin, do you have a piece of music where we can try to see if we can get it a little bit easier with the words? Do you have something that we can, a line of something that we can do?
I have to think of a line in Handel's Revenge Timotheus Cries out of Alexander's Feast in the middle of the piece of the
Okay.
A part.
So, what key is it in? What note does it start on?
It starts on an B natural and it's in E major.
Okay, there's the E major, and there's the B. So sing the line. Let's hear what's going on.
And the sparkles like flash in their eyes.
That sounds fine.
It does right now.
Yeah.
Ah,
So now that's interesting. Okay, and that's a very interesting point. What we did in the lesson so far, I got the falsetto going. Wonderful. We got that going. That's always, I always start on the upper side with just about everybody in every lesson, male or female. Then what I really worked on is we went in the chest voice. I didn't even go high in the beginning. And we worked on freeing the very lowest notes. So we got the lowest notes freer, freer, freer. Then we went higher up that way and we got up to the G and your voice just went there. So that tells me the thing in your voice, which works extremely well, that you have to be careful of is that chest voice on the bottom, because obviously we freed up the chest voice on the bottom. And now even this phrase that you've had a problem with before was a piece of cake.
yeah, I tend to maybe constrict my chest voice a little bit too much to get the muscles in the vocal cords contracting. And maybe I do that too much so that there's a push down there to get the core of the sound.
Yeah,
That's
and
compensating maybe.
exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I'll explain right now. We think, especially as we go lower, we want that chest voice and we think, oh, we need to do chest voice. But actually, you're going to get more of the core of the sound when we're talking low, like below the C, and even lower. You're going to get more of the core of the sound by backing off. And this happens time and time again with everybody. They're just surprised at how much bigger the sound is by backing off. And again, as I explained earlier in this lesson, if you put too much pressure on the vocal cords down there wanting to be big, you're just going to overtense them. So I think the key to your voice is be very careful when you're singing low. Just really back off on those guys. And the top notes are going to take care of themselves because they coordinate very, very well. Now, opposite, do you have something that you sing that goes really low?
Actually, the same piece. It's just
Okay.
a bit more in the B part, which
Okay,
is
great.
how it goes. It's inglorious on the. It is A B F sharp G, inglorious on the plane, and it ends on a G. Inglorious. Oh, I'm quite out of key right now.
Okay, it's the same.
And now it's B flat. It's in.
Oh, B flat?
Sorry. It's in G minor, so we have a B flat. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay, so it's in G minor.
Inglorious on the plain.
Yeah,
That's the one.
yeah. Good, good, good. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with that. It's, the word is plain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do play, yay, 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 yay. Just one note. You see where that's going?
Yeah, it's a
And
lot bigger.
you notice how little effort you had to give to that?
Yeah,
Good.
definitely.
Now, make sure you don't have to over breathe for the phrase because you don't want to have too much air for the phrase. Do the phrase again, and that's where you're going with the plane. Now, when you end up with the last note on the plane, if it doesn't feel completely free, play, yeah, 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 yeah. You can add the yeah, yeah, yeah. If it doesn't feel completely free.
Yeah, okay. Inglorious on the plain.
Yeah.
It's much easier, and I think it's enough for a baritone. It's a bass part, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's another very, very good point that you bring up. Being a baritone, remember in oratorio, you'll be singing a lot of bass parts because you're the baritone, you're going to sing the lowest part, but you're not a bass. You can't get the same bass sound. Now, that sound that you just gave is amazing. It's beautiful, it's full, it's big, but you can't think bass. So if you think too bass, you're going to want to do the and you just can't do that sound is perfectly great for that piece. It's perfectly legitimate for that. You don't need any more than that. So the key, I think, to your voice is that backing off on those bottom notes.
Mm.
So the top notes, there they are. Now I'll tell you what, I want to try one more thing just for the heck of it. Let's see what's happening. So what I'm going to have you do as a little bit of a distraction, because you're going to hear the exercise and you're going to say, oh my God, I don't know. So I'm going to have you exhale. Inhale as you bring your arms up, keep your arms up, and then you're going to sing, and it's starting high, warning you, and then you come down 2 octaves. Okay, so starting way up there, exhale, inhale, and sing the phrase.
On?
An
On? Okay. Ah.
And it went into a falsetto. Okay, fine. That's fine. Uh, um, all right, I'm going to do the half step below. I hesitate to say this, but I'm going to say it. Don't let it go into the falsetto.
Okay, I try.
See what happens. Just see what happens, right? Full on, let it not work. Let it go, let it crack, let it break. Let it be the worst note you've ever sung in your life.
Okay. Good for my worst.
Just go for it and let's see what happens. Now, you know what? It had a couple of those little breaks, but I don't mind those because I'm going to have you do it one more time. Just keep feeding the energy into it. And I'll tell you how to do that. When you first sing the note, just hear it. Because your body, with those little breaks, those little cracks, your body was trying to figure out how to feed the energy, and it didn't quite know how to do that. One of the reasons I'm having you do this is I don't want you to have to, quote unquote, support. You know,
Yeah, I see.
just let your body do whatever. But the way you're going to do it, again, because your voice works so well, just hear it. So when you get that sound, when you first get there, it was great. Just hear it. Just your brain says, you know, body, just keep that sound, keep that sound, keep that sound, and then you go down.
Okay.
So do it the same way. Did you run out of breath at the end?
Not really. Not really.
Okay, you could have backed off a little bit more on that bottom note.
Okay. Okay.
but the top note was the G.
Okay, great.
So I got a little greedy, and the one before I tried for the A flat. I said,
Yeah.
I wonder if we can do the A flat. And then it went into the falsetto. Fine, you're a baritone. Fine, fine. But that G was really good and very different from the G that we did going up that way. That didn't have any covered sound whatsoever.
It didn't.
Nope.
I'm surprised because it feels quite similar.
Yep. And this is one of the problems. A sound that is more efficient and one that's slightly less efficient can feel exactly the same, which is why we can't go by feeling. So again, I tell my students, if you're not sure about a note, record yourself singing the phrase or whatever it is and listen back objectively. And then when you listen back objectively, you may have felt it like that other G that you sang, but it had a very different sound to it. Now, what that had is what the Italians used to call the chiaro scuro. In other words, it's clear and dark at the same time. So you've got that beautiful baritone fullness, but there's a clarity of the ah. It doesn't sound like oh, but it may feel that way.
Maybe there is just a little bit of sparkle in there, which I did not feel, but I heard it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that which keeps it not covered.
Exactly. But as I've said, the key to your voice is those bottom guys, because then the top ones they do their thing, and there they are.
That's a totally different perspective for me right now, because I worked somehow to position the larynx quite low for large resonance, without pushing it downwards, with vocal cord closure in the passaggio and so on and so on, but to get rid of pressure on the really low parts is interesting.
And then that correspondingly gets rid of the negative pressure on the top.
Yeah, it did.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching Donna Reed Talks Voice. If you have any questions for me about this episode, or if you'd like to join me on a future episode, please visit donnareedtv.com and click Contact.